So I retired a long time ago. I had more than enough money.
What was the age you retired at? Again, for the people.
47.
47.
Welcome to Retire Rich. Through this channel, we help people learn about personal finance, how to get rich and retire early. Robert Kiyosaki, one of the richest entrepreneurs on earth, retired at the age of 47, with a net worth of over $100 million. Kiyosaki has shared some awesome retire early advice in his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We are here to share his top 6 rules for retiring early with you.
As far as the subject of debt, there's good debt and bad debt.
1. Leverage the leverage. There's good debt and bad debt. If you have bad debt, then it's best to get out of debt as soon as possible. Credit card debt is bad debt if you are a shopaholic. A student loan is a bad debt too, unless you 100% commit yourself to graduate and are sure to get a job that pays enough to cover debt payments. But then, what is the so-called good debt? Kiyosaki explains debt in terms of cash flow. Bad debt takes cash out of your pocket, while good debt brings cash into your pocket. Finance gurus call good debt leverage for a reason. It leverages them in making more money. Simply put, it means you need to put in money to make more money. But how do you end up with money in the first place? Kiyosaki calls this other people's money, or OPM. You can understand cash flow as follows. If you own a house, it is not an asset. It is a liability because even without mortgage payments, you need to put in money for taxes, repairs, upkeep, and much more, while no money comes in. But if you borrow money, invest the proceeds in real estate, and rent it out, you get an income stream. That's an asset. This income stream should exceed your debt payments and other expenses. Then you will have money coming in instead of going out. And the same applies to a car or a boat. When most boats lose money, boats that are chartered or rented out make money. The rent pays off the original debt, still leaving some money with you. Once you have some more money to spare, you can expand your inventory into multiple real estate properties and live off of your income stream without having to work for a paycheck. So, the bottom line is that not all debt is bad. You need to borrow wisely, know how to use it, and keep an eye on the cash flow. 2. Minimize your taxes. Taxes are a cash outflow. They leave you with less income in hand that you can use the way you like. But is there any way to avoid paying taxes? No, we are not suggesting tax evasion. We are suggesting tax saving. And there is a big difference between the two. Tax evasion is illegal. It means you don't pay the tax you owe. But tax saving is legal. It reduces the tax you owe in the first place, so you pay lower taxes. To explain this, Kiyosaki first explains 3 types of incomes: ordinary income, or the salary income; portfolio income, or the stocks and bonds income; passive income, or the business income. Ordinary income is the highest taxed income because of the lack of tax breaks. Portfolio income is taxed at the next highest level, but passive income is taxed at the lowest because of countless tax breaks allowed by the government. And the biggest tax break to reduce the tax you owe is your debt interest payments. While most people understand debt in just one way, Kiyosaki also explains this lesser-known truth about debt. One of the biggest reasons why most people are not able to figure out debt is because of the traditional educational system. School doesn't educate people to understand the language of money. It makes them job seekers, and when you are in a job, you have no way of using debt to reduce the taxes you pay. But the rich, big or small business owners, use interest on debt to reduce profit and thereby pay less taxes. They can afford to pay up front. They have the money. But still, they borrow, just to use the tax breaks. You might wonder, why should you leave your job security to take the risk of running a business? The answer is, the job market is shrinking every second. With driverless cars and artificial intelligence, most jobs are getting incomplete. With fewer and fewer jobs on the market, it's high time to get on the inside of the business world. 3. Rewire your brain. Kiyosaki is an inspiration to a lot of people for a reason. He doesn't stick to any outdated way of thinking that doesn't work anymore. He factors in the present and how the future is gonna be into how you can get rich. His secret mantra is to question things, and he encourages people to do the same. And that is why he doesn't suggest we blindly follow the age-old, outdated traditional life path. Go to school, get good grades, get a job, work hard, go debt-free, and invest in the stock market. While that route is great for many people who don't have an entrepreneurial mindset, it is not ideal for those who do have it. So, if you have an entrepreneurial mindset, you should question things and follow them only if they make sense to you. In today's times, things are changing too fast, so not questioning the old way of life can be detrimental. Even with a shrinking job market, if we look beyond our surroundings, we can find opportunities in every corner. We live in a globalized world, and so we don't need to limit our opportunities to what's available in our country. All of us have cell phones and internet connections, but do we know how to use them to make us a fortune? Most people would say no. That's because our brains are wired to not take risks or question the existing. If we have a cell phone, we can connect to anyone around the globe. We can offer our skills from a low-cost country and earn the high-paying country's pay rate. Suppose an average American earns $50 an hour, but you can do the same work for $25 an hour. Employers will flow your way from all directions, and $25 an hour is much more than the $7 an hour you would otherwise get in your country, leaving you enough income to start many more passive income streams. All that's needed is to put in the initial time and effort to get established and keep learning new skills people are willing to pay for. 4. Don't fear making mistakes.
Most mistakes is a stupid person. But an entrepreneur, the person that makes the most mistakes and learns from them is the rich person. So I always say to a young entrepreneur,
Another thing we all need to unlearn is that mistakes are bad and failure is out of the question. Kiyosaki gives a very endearing example. A baby learns to walk by standing up and falling down, standing up and falling down. And the same applies to any business. No business gets profitable overnight. It is only after you get into the business and make your own mistakes, you learn what works and what doesn't. We have countless live examples in front of us. Jeff Bezos once said he had no clue what he was doing when he started Amazon. Elon Musk's SpaceX failed 3 rocket launches before the 4th successful one. Kiyosaki inspires us to learn from these examples. He says making mistakes is the only way to learn how to play the game. When you take on big risks or enter into something new, you are bound to make mistakes. But not learning from your mistakes becomes a problem. If you make a mistake once, it might not cost you much. But if you make the same mistake again and again, you will end up being bankrupt. 5. Don't chase money, chase value. Before money even existed, people still exchanged value. They bartered or exchanged goods with each other. So if you had a bag of rice and I had a pair of slippers, we could exchange them directly without using money. But what if you wanted to buy a suit instead? See how hard it was to find a buyer and a seller both possessing the goods they wanted to exchange? And that's why money came into existence. But that was not the end of it. With money, the inherent concept of perceived value was tagged along. And we still use this concept every day. Gold has value because we as humans perceive it to be precious. Maybe because it is in limited quality. If we value something more, we are willing to pay more for it. And this is where the difference between an entrepreneurial mindset and the employee mindset arises from. Kiyosaki explains, employees chase money, but entrepreneurs chase value. So, ultimately, if we want to get very rich very fast, we need to think more about how can we create value instead of thinking how we can earn more money.
To identify the pain point and make sure that your aspirant solves that pain point and people will seek you out.
We need to identify a problem that needs to be resolved and then find ways to solve it. That's how we end up creating value. Most successful entrepreneurs did the same. They came up with billion-dollar solutions to larger real-world problems. So, the bigger the problem we solve, the higher the value we create. and the higher the value we create, the more money we create. 6. Understand the global economic cycle. Kiyosaki is a big proponent of analyzing the past to develop a view of the present and the future economic scenario. He says there is no one right investment strategy. Our strategy should adapt with the changing times. Under uncertain economic phases, such as the post-pandemic world we live in, it is crucial to understand the global economy. Our money decisions should evolve with how money itself is evolving. As we all know, initially, money used to be pegged against gold, but later the US dollar became the reserve currency, and in 1971, US President Richard Nixon completely abolished the gold convertibility. The world entered into a fully fiat currency regime, inflating the US dollar and making it the strongest currency in the world. People holding US dollars became much richer overnight. According to most economists, the world economy drastically changes every 50 years. Knowing this helps us make the right investment decisions at the right time. After the pandemic, the global economy is undergoing recessionary turns. Investors are putting their money in safe haven assets, such as gold, to prevent value erosion.
In the event that enough investors were to basically say, I want physical gold, I want the gold delivered, we would have a run on gold that would be incredible. And I also think...
Therefore, as of now, our money decisions need to be aimed at preventing value erosion. We need to store our wealth in safe assets instead of investing in riskier assets, such as emerging market stocks. Subscribe for more personal finance videos. Turn on the notifications and leave a like to help this channel out. Thank you for watching.